What's up, everybody? Good late morning. More three-tech type players to take a look at here. More defensive tackles. Uh, Again, the rules from earlier today do apply. The Seahawks, the front of their three-tech defensive tackle depth chart is pretty stacked. So I don't know if we're going to need something up here, but we should take a look at it anyway. We should at least take a look at the options and be open to and be willing to consider it. All right, so earlier today we did the high-end starters, of which there were only two. This is more like your mid-level starter area. These are the guys you're going to have to pay less than 10 million, but presumably more than 5 million. Although there's always room for something to surprise you. We'll get to that a little bit later in this video. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some mid-level starter type 3-techs. First guy's BJ Hill. BJ Hill, veteran, going to turn 30 in April. Former third-round pick. Went to the Bengals for 4 years back in 2021. He's been a stalwart on that defense. Not a great defense, but, I mean, he's played almost every game ever since he got to the Bengals. He played every game in some capacity on the Giants. So he's a borderline Iron Man. Not quite, because he did miss 2 games last year, which maybe that's a bad omen, but he's been a quality, solid member of that Bengals defense for a few years now, and I don't think there's any reason to necessarily believe that he can't do it anymore. So this would be a third contract for him, obviously. And PFF will tell you that he's still playing good. Last year, they ranked him in the top 30 for defensive linemen, 70.2, really good. Year before that, 67.7, 46th in the league out of over 200 linemen. So there still aren't a ton of players that are doing it better than BJ Hill at this point in time. And he's given you snaps, like 775 snaps in 2023, last year 710. So he's putting in the miles as well. So this guy has a lot to offer. Spotrac says 2 years, 18 million. That seems appropriate to me. He is about to turn 30, so you do expect there to be some age-related decline coming up soon, but not super soon. 9 million a year, that seems about where you want to be here. I still think we're a little too high for the Seahawks to think about it. I don't think we can throw another 9 million a year at a player like BJ Hill, even if it's a 1-and-1 deal. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's a good use of resources, and I don't think you're going to get the bang for your buck out of it. He's a very good player who just wouldn't do a lot here. This next guy, however, we should be open to some very interesting things happening. Calais Campbell. So, Calais Campbell's going to turn 39 before the season starts. Understand that. This guy's about to turn 39 years old. He's been bouncing around the league forever. He's been an All-Pro. He's been a Pro Bowler. He's been one of the great players of his era. And I don't know if he's going into the Hall of Fame, but I would not be mad if he went to the Hall of Fame at all, because he has been an incredible piece on so many different teams. Cardinals, Jaguars, Ravens, Falcons, Dolphins. And in his old age, he continues to ball out. 2 years ago for the Falcons and a year ago on the Dolphins, as an old man, played every game, gave you 5 to 7 sacks and over 50 tackles in each of those seasons. He's generating some pressures, not a huge number of them, but for an interior guy, really good. I mean, this guy's awesome. And normally I would say stay far away from somebody who's about to turn 39, but this guy deserves some consideration as a guy who can overcome that, because he was 38 last year. That should be disqualifying. It wasn't. He was 37 the year before that. That should be disqualifying, and it wasn't. So Calais Campbell, certified old man badass. PFF had him ranked in the elite tier last year, by the way, 82.3. They thought he was about as good as it gets at the position on 600 plus snaps. And in case you think that's a fluke, no. The year before he was an 80. Not quite ranked as high, but still phenomenal stuff on over 700 snaps. So it seems to me that this guy has a little bit of gas left in the tank. And if you sign him as your depth piece, as a third 3-tech, you are doing a lot to take care of your issues. And that's kind of what we're looking for here. You've got Murphy, you've got Williams. You need somebody to play cleanup. Campbell might be overqualified, but at his age, maybe all he would want to do is play 15 snaps a game. Maybe that's what's best for him at this point at his age. So here's the thing. Spotrac says 1 year, $7.1 million. I don't think the Seahawks can swing that. But last year, we have to remember, Spotrac said Campbell should get like $6 or $7 million a year for a year, and he got $2 million from the Dolphins. So clearly, he's not getting paid the way his production says he should. I think what's happening is that they're looking at his age, and they're just like, there's no way we're going to give big money to a guy who's this old, in his late 30s. So I imagine that teams just go there and they're just like, sorry, we're going to be inflexible here. We know you're still good, but we cannot pay that kind of money to a player that could turn into, a fossil any second now. So what if you could get Campbell for 1 year, $2 million this offseason, and you got him, and you're like, okay, you're going to rotate in on a limited basis. You're going to be a guy who gives us 15, maybe 18 snaps a game on average. If somebody gets hurt, you're there, you can step up for a few weeks. You've proven that you can do it. That's how you go over the top to take care of your issues without going too far. Excuse me, I think I just blew up my microphone a little bit. Without going too far to do so by wasting money and resources. So I would be pretty into this one. Yeah, sign me up for Calais Campbell. One last guy, and it's somebody that the Seahawks are going to be very familiar with and their fans, Poona Ford. Remember good old Poona Ford, going to turn 30 in November, looking for a new team. Spent a year on Buffalo, didn't really do anything. Spent a year with the Chargers and played great. Poona Ford did some great things for the Chargers in 2024, and now he's back out there on the market, and there should be some money out there for him. He anchored one of the best defenses in football last year. So 85.1 grade last year, better than Campbell, 5th best, top 5. So really, really good, really, really efficient play. 600 snaps. The previous year for Buffalo, he didn't play that much, but it was graded pretty average, 59.3. I'm not going to ascribe a ton to that because he just didn't play that much, and this is more recent anyway. But he is, he's definitely he's definitely got something good to offer in this league still. And I suspect that he's going to want a little bit more than a role as like a third string tackle. And by the way, I know some people are going to ask about this. The last couple of years, he has almost exclusively played in B gap, not A gap. So if you're thinking about signing him as like a nose tackle type who can also do 3-tech stuff, and you're kind of getting depth at both positions, kind of, but he hasn't really done an excessive amount of A gap stuff in a while. So I don't think looking at him like a nose tackle makes a lot of sense. So that is what there is to say. This guy's good. They say the cost is going to be 1 year, $6.6 million. That's certainly more than what he got last year. And it makes sense based on the way that he played. I could definitely see 1 year, $6.6 million. Probably still a little too much given what we would ask of him. But we're getting closer to the right area here. If the Eagles just taught us anything, having a really good, really deep defensive line goes a long way. So if there's any position where you should at least consider going overboard, it's probably here. But I still say this is probably a little bit too much. We're getting closer, though. And I'm open to it. This isn't like signing an expensive third-string running back or a really expensive fifth-string wide receiver where it makes no sense. This might make some sense. Still I think we got to go a little bit further, but let me know what you guys think of this group. The Calais Campbell thing is really fun to imagine because you might only have to sign him for a few $1,000,000, and you might be able to just play him 15 to 18 snaps a game, and he would be cool with that because he is so old and he wants to save himself anyway. Okay. See you guys later, Go Hawks. Want to hear what you guys have to say about this group. More 3-tech defensive tackle stuff later today.